Right, well, the first thing I've got to do is log into this. I'm not so sure about iPad 7. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you ever so much for coming. It's great that you've made it, and I really hope that you're going to enjoy this evening. What to expect tonight? I get this working. What we're going to do tonight, it's going to fit into a two-part presentation. The first part is my testimony. And my testimony is important because it's foundational to the reason why the standard has been set up. The things that have happened in my past lead into doing this with the standard. And so you'll see as we move through. And then once we finish that, we'll have a short break, and then we'll crack on with the process for the standard. So here we go. Okay. I'm 51. I know I might not look it, but I'm 51. I've been in business for 30 years, and I've been a Christian for 4 years. So my wife and I were baptised in 2009. And so we've had a very interesting past 4 years. And pretty much all the time previous to that was without God. My parents were Catholics, they are Catholics. By the time I got to 17, I was up for moving out of the country. I didn't want to really go to church. This has moved forward quicker than I thought. But basically, growing up, you can see from the pictures, they put me in a dress when I was small. But basically, we had a great time. We had a great time growing up. But it got to that point where it was time for a change. So we moved on. Okay. So it comes 17. Just before I was 18, I left the UK and travelled around the world. Interestingly enough, I'll skip through this fairly quickly. Okay, we're good to go? Okay. God, it's like being at church.
What's the preach about today?
Oh, I'm going to come on to that in a minute. Oh. Okay, reboot it. All right. If we just go back a little bit, I did what a lot of people did around those times. It was great to go travelling. So I went through India, Nepal, Thailand, Malaysia, Australia. I came back. I worked in camera shops, and then I got involved in selling technology in the West End. I started my first business in 1987, and 1988 I got married. And then, will it work?
5 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, and so I did what most people did when they start businesses. You get your head down. You work as hard as you can. You think that the only thing that is important is the business. When it comes to family and things like that, they kind of take a bit of a back seat because you think that you're doing the right thing by focusing on the business all the time. Anything to do with faith or things like that, you think, well, I haven't got time for that because I'm being really sensible in making sure that I watch over my business and I look at and I concentrate on the finances. And I pursued that, and it seemed to go okay for a while. We had about 20 staff. I'm kind of filling in for a bit because we're waiting for this to get back up. But at the end of the day, we need to pray about this. We need to pray about attack. So in the process of being in business, you just think that you're being responsible by focusing on the finances and on the money. In 1989, our daughter was born. Her name was Lauren. She was born on the 1st of May. Beautiful girl. A few years, 2.5 years later, son was born. And he's there on the camera at the moment. And it was 2.4 children, that type of thing. You know, a couple of kids. We didn't have a dog, but that type of a very typical environment that you think, well, it's perfect, isn't it? In 1993, we got made bankrupt. So here we are. We've got the perfect scenario, and then we get made bankrupt. That's really tough. And it's not when you get made bankrupt, it's the lead up to it. Yeah? The bankruptcy bit's really easy, but it's the grief that you go through that leads up to it that takes its toll. So you think, okay, well, that was really bad. That was March 93. In July 93, our daughter died. She had a bicycle accident. She was out with my wife at the time. I was at home with Aidan. A bicycle accident, and then a few days later she died and got helicoptered to the Royal Free. My life was devastated. It was shock. How do you explain something like that? We know that we are supposed to die. We know our parents are supposed to go before us, but our children are not supposed to go before us. And people have, when it happens, people say, I really feel for you. Nobody knows what to say. Nobody experiences stuff like that. And so, with two things happening fairly close, people are going, you've got some seriously bad luck here going on. You've just been made bankrupt. You just lost your business. You grafted in that for 7 years. And now you lost your daughter. I mean, that's awful. Following year, a miracle. Can you do it manually? Okay. So, the following year, a miracle. Major miracle. Lauren was born on the 1st of May. And Francesca was born on the 2nd of May. So God, God has a plan. So you think, okay, you've gone bankruptcy. Your daughter's died. And then you've got another daughter. Then I had a quadruple bypass in 96. So it's like, you've got to laugh about it now. If you don't laugh. I got a scar from there to there, and I got a scar on both legs from there to there. It was kind of difficult at the time. I remember lying in hospital the day before it happened, and I'm thinking, when I go down tomorrow, I wonder if I'm going to wake up again. Well, that's going to be really interesting. To find out what happens after you die. And I remember speaking to my dad, who's sitting in the front row. And I said, I really thought I might die, with something to do with my heart. He went, well, you might, So I thought, well, at the end of the day, I'm here. Yeah? I'm here. So, a series of I won't even say unfortunate events, but the things that life throw at us is really serious. And it depends how you're going to cope with it and deal with it. So nothing can go wrong now, can it? We've had all the worst things that could possibly happen, yeah? So then 2001, I split up with my wife. We separated and got divorced. And I ended up living in a flat. It was a nice flat, but living in a flat was the same in Enfield. And then the enemy tried it on. Because in 2003, I met my wife Liz. And her two children, James and Erin. And Aidan and Francesca got on really well with James and Erin, like a house on fire. They were brothers instantly. No grief, not ever. But the enemy, you bear with me, those that don't know about the enemy, but at the end of the day, the enemy tried it on again and again. We got married in 2004. We then spent 7 years in court with 86 court appearances and hundreds of thousands of pounds of costs. And during that time, having gone through all of that, I set up a networking group. I wrote a book. I organised a very large deal for a very large organisation, about £4.5 million. I managed it basically by myself. And we represented ourselves in court. So this is kind of like a testimony about how much crap can you have thrown at you that you deal with, that you can justifiably turn around to someone and say, come on, bring it on. You know, I've had so much stuff chucked at me. Come on. You know, it's a kind of arrogance, but it's also like, and it's not just being hard about it, it's saying, well, I've had all this, there can't be anything else. Going through the court process was really, really bad. And we are much, much enlightened now. We understand about it. We understand why these things happen and who and what actually makes this happen. It's not the people. Yeah? It's other forces are involved in this that make this stuff happen. But when you're right in it, you don't know it. So you just want to have a go at the person or the individual or the organisation. You think but actually that's not it. And that takes going through it to understand this and to come out of it the other end. But we did. Because we made a decision not to play the game anymore. And we said, right, we're not responding, we're not doing this, we're not going to pursue this anymore. We're not going to play the game, if we call it a game, that the courts want to play. We're going to stop. I'll come back to this a bit later. We said it, but we also wrote it down and sent it to the court. Yeah. So it's two things. We said it, we confessed it, for those that know, and we wrote it down, which was our petition. This is really significant. I'll tell you in a minute. A few months later, we had to do a final document to put into the court. So we put this document into the court on the 12th of January 2009. And in the document we said, that's it. I won't say everything that I said, but I basically said the courts have behaved. You've behaved so badly. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Now we're in the High Court. Yeah, we're down in the Strand. So that got submitted in at 12 o'clock. 7 hours later, I get a phone call from Francesca saying, I'm coming over. And the following day, finished. We never got so much as a by or leave. We never got a phone call, an email, a letter, an order, or anything from the courts after that. We disappeared. Now, we were high profile in the courts. Our 14 archive boxes of documents says we were high profile. But we just disappeared off the face of the court system. But we didn't know quite where it was leading to. We just thought, wow. So now we're living over here in Watford, and we've got 3 kids going over to Rickmansworth School, and we've got another child going halfway around the M25. So we've got 1 car. So what are we going to do? And Liz says, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll go and ask these people who live opposite. Because I know that they drive to near the station. So we'll ask them if they'll help us. And the couple who are friends of ours called Craig and Sue. And so, I say they're friends, we didn't really know them. We met them once. So Liz goes over and asks them, and they said, yes, of course we'll help you. She explains what the deal was and why and so on. And they said, oh, we'll pray for you. Fair enough. And then a few weeks later, we're sort of settling down a little. They invited us over for a drink. I thought, that's fair enough. So we go over for a drink, which I now know is called a fellowship night, by the way. So I got that one. So it was a fellowship night. So here we are. So we're talking, there's all these nice people around us. And I'm recounting like I always do. Okay. I would go on and on. I mean, we didn't have any friends. We couldn't, because all we would do was talk about the court stuff and talk about how we were going to nail the courts and we understood what was going on. And if you weren't interested in what we were talking, we didn't really want to, So anyway, I'm saying how much I'm going to nail the courts. And someone, I'm not sure who it was, but someone was talking to Liz and said, would you like to come to church on Sunday? And Liz said, well, yeah, we would. And then she says to me, they've asked us to go to church. Great. I only came over for a drink. So now we're going to church. So the following day, 2 days, that was a Friday night. So we go to church on the Saturday. It's really nice. I thought, well, that's all right. I quite like this. It's nice people. I went the following week. And the following week, the fourth week, the guy that invited us, called Craig, he did this sermon on money. And I'm listening to this sermon and it's starting to affect me. I'm thinking, wow, there's something. I couldn't tell you what he said. I just couldn't. But I knew it was significant that I knew I had chased money all my life. Yeah, I chased money all my life. Right. And just to recap, because we can play around with the video and we can do some editing as well. That's my daughter Lauren. And there's Francesca just before she goes off in a... Do you remember that? And I meant to say at the beginning, we're in a church, yeah? This is a great-looking church, really great facilities and so on. But we're in a church, which means we're family, yeah? Which means if I'm talking too fast, too slow, don't get something, can't quite work, tell me to stop, tell me to repeat. There's not hundreds of people. I didn't have to come in and go, good evening, Watford. So just stop me. So basically... that's just before we went up in a paraglide, a parascending, wasn't it? Do you remember? Bypass, divorce, met Liz, court, book. 7-hour response. We're up to date. So we listened to this sermon on money. Leave church, go to Starbucks, just over here in Borders. We're sitting there. I've got Robson and Jerome playing Hallelujah, singing Hallelujah, yeah? And I'm sitting there leaking. I'm just gushing, thinking, well, I don't understand this. I don't know what's going on. I'm just sitting here in tears. I'm thinking, I've got to do something with the church. No, I can't. No, I'm in business. No, I've got to do something with a church, do a church, build up a church, help a church. I don't know, something like that. I don't know what it was. But I knew we had to be connected with church. And we're not quite sure where this is going. I mean, we've only been to church a handful of times. So we thought, tell you what, we'll go back to Craig's place and have a chat with Craig. So we go back and tell Craig and say, look, I'm sitting there crying. This is ridiculous. And he goes, well, he said, I think, the Lord's calling you. Do you want to make a commitment? Make a commitment to Christ. I said, like what? What are you talking about? He said, well, you've got to say a prayer and explained it a bit briefly. And I said, yeah, I think we got to. I think that's what we're supposed to do. So we said the prayer, had a drink, left, and sort of thought, well, nothing's changed. Nothing happened. But I now know the significance of it was at that point, sitting in their living room, that we got saved. What happened afterwards was really strange. It's all Jim's fault. It's really strange. So we're now going to a cell group, so we're getting stuck into this. So we're in a cell group. So we're around at our friend's house. And everyone's got their eyes closed, we're all praying, and I kind of sneaky opened up an eye, what you do. You think, well, I'm new to all this. Has everyone really got their eyes closed? Oh, they have. Go look at that. And I look over at the door, and there's the door, the door frame, and I see this figure standing there in white with a gold belt on. I'm thinking, that should not be there. This is not right. And I'm kind of... So I close my eyes again thinking, that's got to go, isn't it? Oh, it's gone. God, it's gone. So we wait, and then we finish our quiet prayer time and go around the group. And Jim says, has anyone got anything to say? And I kind of guffawed. Well, what was that, Nigel? Nothing. Now, come on, say it. What was it? I said, well, this might seem a bit strange. Go on, he says. Come on. I said, well, I'm sitting, I opened my eye and I looked over there, white figure, great gold belt. Goes, yes, I know. What? He says, I know, I saw it too. I think, wow, this is Christianity. This isn't like this really weirdy stuff. I couldn't quite correlate the two. So each time we went to church, my hands would burn up and start tingling. And where we were going to church at the time, it was a school, and in different schools they have solid brick walls, and then we're in the gym or assembly halls. It's solid brick wall, and then you've got the wooden climbing frames and the ropes hanging down, and above that you've got the windows. Yeah. Not a sneaky look. I just look up, and I can see this enormous eye looking in on us. Do I want to be? No, I do want to be in here. I like this. This is good. I like this stuff. This is not what I expected. Because you get the happy clappy stuff and so on, but this is stuff happening. So then, a bit later, I go up to Scotland on business, come back, I'm on the plane, glasses on, completely leaking. Yeah, I'm just gushing. And all I've got is this like a flashcard that says, I am God. And this complete awareness that I'm supposed to go and preach and my son's supposed to run the business. I'm going, you've got to be kidding, he's 18. But this is really, really powerful and strong. So I think, but I'm really emotional about this. I'm thinking, I've got to talk to someone about this. This is really strong. So we got back, got off the plane, talked about it as soon as I got home. Went home, sat down. I'm in the living room, and I close my eyes. I don't fall asleep, but I close my eyes. And I felt myself being just pushed ever so slightly into the sofa, just a bit, not a lot. And I registered it. I had my eyes closed. I could register it. I thought, well, that was strange. And then it happened again. And then again. And then again. And I realised I couldn't open my eyes. And it was getting to the point where I was oscillating, being pushed into my sofa. And all I could see was black. But I knew this was wrong. This was fundamentally wrong. This should not be happening. And I knew, and I felt it was a bit twee, but I knew I had to think and try and pray that I could see the cross. Now, this is courtesy of Google Images. There wasn't the wavy bit in the front. But it was like that. Okay? And so I prayed for this, and I knew I had to see this. And then it stopped. It all went peaceful. June 2009, we got baptised. Yeah? Great day. And you think, well, wonderful. It's all moving along swimmingly. Now we're baptised. Nobody told us about the 40 days. And our 40 days lasted 18 months because we didn't know what we were doing. Not a great deal needs to be said about symbolism or anything like that, but I had a dream that I was trying to fight off a lion that was trying to jump at me with a sword, and there's a lamb. And I could almost see myself laughing or smiling in the dream, thinking, oh, look at that. Sword, lion, lamb. Doesn't have to, you don't need more information than that. But it was tough. Going through that was really, really tough. Things didn't happen, business didn't happen, stuff didn't happen, stuff did or didn't. It was just stuff was going on. Nothing seemed to be going right. We then get to a point, on top of all that, we now got to move. We're living in a rented place. Landlord needs to sell up. He's moving out of the location, so we have to move. Not a problem. However, I lost the deal. Didn't lose the deal, it got postponed, but the deal didn't come in that we were expecting to get. So therefore, we have to move. I haven't got any money. We've just got one salary coming in, not the stuff that we need for deposits and everything else. Yeah? Lost the deal. What are we going to do? A week before we move, we lose the house that we're going to move to. So now we've got no house, no money, nowhere to move to, 4 kids. Was it 3 at the time? Can't remember. So on the Monday, we found this out a week before we had to move. So we phoned, we phoned around to see a load of properties on the Tuesday. They were awful. Come the Wednesday, we went to our cell group and said, look, we need some prayer. It's really problematic here. And they said, what do you want prayer for? We've got no money, no house, and we've got to move in a week, in less than sort of 5 days' time. And you can see the look on their face. I'm so glad I'm not sitting in your place. We had one place to go and see, which is the following day, which we went to see. We sat outside and thought, it's fine, I know it's fine. Newly decorated, 3-bedroom, blah, blah, blah. It was fine. So we go and see the estate agent and say, look, we don't really want you to do a credit check, so therefore we need to do a deal, a couple of months deposit, so a few months up front, something like that. He goes, well, I don't know, I'll ask the landlord, but someone else is going to come and see this, and they're really keen to move in here because they want their kids to go to the local school, that sort of thing. So he's right, okay. Leave there at 11:30, 1 o'clock, phone call from the landlord, from the estate agent saying, yeah, we do it. He's really happy to do it. Really surprised, but he said yes. Wonderful. Phone down, what's the point? With no money and so on. 3 o'clock, get a phone call from the landlord. So what's happening, Nigel? Have you found a place? I told him we'd lost the place. I said, well, it's like this. I said, we have found a place, but we lost a deal. So now we've got no money, we can't move. Unless something, I don't know what to do. But we're in a real tough place. He said, so you found a place to move to? I said, yeah. And he said, what are they looking for? I said, well, they actually added all up is $7,500. And he said, right, okay. And when do you need that by? I said, well, we need to be out on Monday, don't we? So therefore it's Thursday today, so tomorrow. I said, but the thing is, the trouble is that we've lost the deal, so we haven't got money coming in, so we've got nothing coming in the foreseeable at all. Pause. Okay, what? Okay, what? I'll pay it. I'll give you the money. And I'm like, whoa! You said I'll give you the money. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Just email me over the details. I'll transfer it. I phone Liz. Understandably, Liz is in tears. So we go to church on the Sunday, and you can see everybody's face at church going, oh, here they come. Oh, how's it going? Because they knew we had to be out the following day. It's great. It's great. It's wonderful. Why? What's happened? And we told them. Shock. Complete shock. So we moved on to Monday, and everything was fine. 3 months later. Now, people... Go on.
You need to tell them what the landlord's name is.
Oh, I will. So Liz goes with Aidan to the estate agents to get the documents. She comes back, she says, you need to sign that. It's okay. She said, look at his name. I'm turning over the page, yeah? Got to the signatures. The landlord's name was David. God, man. So he's got a sense of humour. But 3 months later, and this is where it really gets interesting. 3 months later, you think, well, you've had all this stuff happen to you. You've got baptised. You can see yourself coming back up now. You can see things are changing. 3 months later, I'm not happy. Things aren't going the way I want them to go. Because I'm in control, aren't I? Because that's what it's all about. I'm in control, nobody else. So it's not going my way. And Psalm 78 and Hebrews 3:9 basically says, here the Jews, yeah? God takes them out of Israel, out of Egypt. The wall of fire that stopped them, that held up Pharaoh's army, well, that was one thing. That wasn't so good. That wasn't so serious. Then there was the parting of the Red Sea, going through the Red Sea. Well, that was all right. That was nothing special. Then there was a pillar of smoke during the day, a pillar of fire at night. That didn't seem to encourage them and go, there's something serious going on here. Maybe we should honour our God. And they go, well, we're hungry. Come on. Manna. And they go, well, do you know what? I really fancy some meat. I'm getting a bit fed up with this manna. Quail. And they've still got the needle with God. It's not good enough. This instant amnesia. Yeah? It took me 3 months, not 40 years. 3 months, I can't take this. I've had enough of this. Don't believe in miracles. I didn't even want to go to church. Did not know where it was coming from. Didn't want to go to church. So the Sunday comes. Friend of ours, Janet, brings a book in. I'm saying miracles don't happen. She brings a book in, wrapped up. Thought about it yesterday. Bought this for you. Untake the wrapping off. Miracles Do Happen by Bill Johnson. I'm starting to smile now. I then read, then there was a couple of other books, Believer's Authority and Sharper Than a Two-Edged Sword by Andrew Womack and Kenneth Hagin.
Yeah,
Hagin. It started to change. I was counting the money after the collection at church, and I got back in for the end of the sermon. And I get the tail end of the sermon, and it was a sermon about submission. And it was about understanding what you have to put down before you pick something up. And Jeannie Morgan, who's given this sermon, who's got a massive, big healing ministry, she was told by God to put her ministry down for the church. And she thought she was putting her ministry down for the small C, for her church. Stop doing it. And she was going, well, I'm not doing that. It's my ministry. I've set this up. I've worked hard for it. I'm not going to put it down. And it was put it down. And eventually, as you know, she did put it down. And she realised, put your ministry down for the church, big C. And he expanded her ministry internationally. When I said before that I was doing stuff, we were really busy, I wrote a book, did this, that and the other, there's a thing in the book which I think I created, called Sales Exchange, and it was a marketing strategy for businesses, for small businesses. I thought, oh, this is it. I'm going to nail this. Did the website, business plan structure, P&L cash flow to balance sheet. 3 years, I had venture capital companies going, no, this is special. I'm going, yes. This is going to work. This is going to be it. And I'm listening to that, and it's like, you've got to put it down. I'm thinking, no, I can't put this down. I've worked really hard doing this. But then it got worse. It says, you've got to be salt and light. Go and get a job. Now I know there's a demon, there's a devil in the house now telling me, go and get a job. I've been working, I'm self-employed, 30 years, nearly 30 years, go and get a job, go and work for someone. You've got to be joking. And we're talking about it. And Liz is going, well, actually, if that's what you think God's saying, you kind of got to go and do it, haven't you? All right, I'll do it. So, I get a job. It didn't take very long either. So I got a job, head of marketing, it's all right. I gave a Bible away, I witnessed to every single person in the company, right the way up to the main investor who's the chairman of one of the largest independent telecoms companies in the country. And after I'd done that, I kind of felt that I'd done what I set out to do. I remember telling Liz, I think that was the point, to go and do it, be obedient, but witness up to the top, like to the very top, to the chairman, yeah? The job came to an end. I thought, well, is that it? I've got to go through that process again and get my CV out there. And I told Liz, it's finished. And she went, oh, well, that's a worry. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not a worry. It's going to be fine. 2 days later, I told you about the deal that we lost, came in. So can you start straight away? Of course I can. I'm free. So the deal comes in. So we go, well, that's great. So we did the deal and did the work and did the website and did all the stuff you're supposed to do. Really good. Comes to a natural end, which, it was a contract, so it's a 10, 12-week contract. Start again. Get the CVs out there. No, you don't. You're not to do it. Write it up and pray about it. Write up your perfect job and pray about it. All right, I can do that. Yeah, it's not a problem. So I wrote up, right, I want to work, I want to go to work on the Met Line, I want to work in town somewhere, head of marketing, I want the latest equipment, I want big budget, I think I can just do anything I want to do and make it really fly. What else do I want? I want to travel. I've got to put travel in there. It's a bit of travel. And I want my son to work with me as well because he really likes doing this kind of stuff. So get him to work with me and it'd be really good to work together. Wouldn't that be great, yeah? Typed it up. This. Printed it out. Wednesday night cell group. Gave it out. And we prayed about it, didn't we? I said, this is my new job. And they went, really? Well done. That was quick. And they looked at it, well, hang on, it's a wish list. Yep, it's my job. It's my new job. So we prayed about it. It didn't take me 3 months or 40 years to forget what we'd done. The following day, I forgot that we'd done this. Phone call. The following day. That's the Thursday. Spoke to this guy, said, see what you've been doing. Meet up next week. Met him the following Tuesday. First interview Thursday, second interview Friday, got the job. After the first week of working there, trip to Germany. And 3 weeks later, my son worked for me. Job lasted 6 months. There was something interesting because I didn't put down I wanted a job for life. but it came to an end, yeah? It came to an end. But I kind of felt unfulfilled a bit because we didn't get that mega deal in. Because that's what it was all about. It's like proving, well, you can do all this marketing stuff, but unless you get the mega deal in, it's nonsense. 2 days after, the following week, so I finished on the Friday. The Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I got an email from the managing director saying, basically, you're amazing. £3 million deal came in. And I just kind of felt that was God going, look, I know you're going to have the needle with this. If you don't see something happen, I'll just keep you quiet for that because then you know what you did was right. But your time is finished there, so move on. So I thought, right, well, this is a great opportunity now. I'll start with sales exchange again. We'll bring this up to speed. And I'll move through this fairly quickly. So we bring this stuff up to speed, make this happen. I finished the sales exchange project and we revamped the site and get it ready to rock and roll. And we're going to do the petition again and write it up and pray for it and pray for it and pray for it. Nothing. Flat. To the point where it was, hang on a second, it's not happening, is it? If he works this quickly, when we've been praying and we're praying correctly in his will, surely we ain't praying in his will doing this because it's not happening. Otherwise it would happen instantly. Because that's become our experience. When it's really right, go for it and it happens. Maybe it's wrong. And then it came to me, you are not to get finance for sales exchange. Okay. Decided that, bang, a load was lifted off our shoulders. Things just changed. So then we had this, we continued with, I finished doing the sales exchange setup. I then did some of my own stuff and then started working on the standard. Just recently, a guy from Assemblies of God in Australia came over, and he's a prophetic guy. And we came to an evening, and there were a load of people here, and when they were doing the prophecies for different people, they had the playing the music, playing the keyboards, and they're speaking these prophecies over people. And it's really nice. The lights were down, yeah. And he comes over to Liz and I and says, "You two stand up, stop the music." And he prophesied over us about what we'd been through, what we were doing, what was going to happen, what had happened. It just went on and on and on. And there were people in the audience, so to speak, because it was when Sunday night it was on. There's people in the audience go, "I can't believe he's just said that. He would never have known that." So we know that we've got, God's looking down on us going, I've got something lined up for you guys. And with prophecy, I just love this picture. So here you go. You've got Abraham and Lazarus, and you've got the rich man, and he's getting very warm. And the rich man says to Abraham, "Do us a favour, would you? Send Lazarus to get us a drink." And Abraham says, "Sorry, mate, no can do." Well, at least send him back to my brothers and tell my brothers not to behave like the way they are, because otherwise they're going to end up here and it's getting really hot. And Abraham says, "Are you for real? Every time we sent someone to you to tell you what was going on, you killed every prophet. And now you want a special envoy?" And that's kind of where we're with prophets and people here that speak over us, that people ridicule and go, "No, you can't do that." So we're at a point, Liz and I, in our lives. Jeremiah 29:11, people chuck this out there. But I've got plans for you. I know my plans for you. Yeah, they're plans for you for a hope and a future, or future and a hope. Yeah, plans to prosper you. Just this is happening. This is this scripture in reality. And I can stand here and defy anybody and go, "Listen, God moves. My goodness me, does he move." For me, standing here, this testimony is so powerful that it is undeniable that God is in this, that God moves in this world, in business, in what we're doing. And people just want to erase it. It's not relevant. So we just need people to come forward with their testimonies and say, "Listen, you've got to be joking. Have you heard this guy's testimony?" Things are happening to people all over the place, but they don't put it on video. They don't post it up enough. It does happen, but it doesn't happen enough. And so the message isn't getting out there. We've got lists. It's going to be posted up on the website of all the different stuff that's happened to us. It's just, vision and prophecy and word and picture after picture. And this is my introduction to Christianity in 4 years. And people have been Christians for a lifetime and have never seen this stuff. Why? Is it because they're blocking it out? I don't know. This is the most serious picture in my life. Because, of course, I've seen it before when Lauren died. Isn't that interesting? But I know, with every single thing that's happened to me, I've gone from being on Cloudline, running a business, doing this, flashing around in a BMW and everything else, and it just trickling away and everything trickling away. For bankruptcy and bypass and loss of my daughter, and then coming back up again and going down again, and just years of grief to where we are now. We've just been plucked up. And the fact that we've been plucked up, as you do with a kid, you just put them there. That's why there's one set of footsteps. I would not be here. I could not be here if he hadn't have looked after me. And you can't say, well. No, there's no well about it. There's no well about it. I know for a fact that I cannot and I will not take another step forward in anything that I do, ever, for the rest of my life, unless I do it with God.